Picture this: prison so plush and comfy that prisoners might actually want to stay behind bars. You've likely heard of the planet's most notorious and spine-chilling lockups, the kind where escape is just a pipe dream once you're locked in. But now, let's flip the script and dive into a whole different vibe in the prison world. Spots where lawbreakers kick back in a lifestyle so lavish, it's hard to wrap your head around. La Pacoda Prison. Now, shift your gaze to La Pacoda Prison in Bogotá, Colombia, where the boundary between lockdown and luxury gets seriously fuzzy. This maximum security joint has hosted some wild scenes that sound more like a party than a penalty. Imagine a 2-day birthday blowout happening right inside the cell block. Yep, that's La Pacoda for you. But it's not all cake and candles. This place has a dark side too. A brutal riot once broke out, leaving at least 23 inmates dead and around 90 others injured, including several cops caught in the chaos. Then there's Juan Lorenzo Castro Estupien, better known as Matamba, a slick Colombian drug lord who pulled off a jaw-dropping escape from this so-called fortress thanks to some inside help. It's a wild mix of privilege and pandemonium that keeps this prison in the headlines. Captured just a year earlier, Matamba was awaiting extradition to the United States for his involvement in extensive drug trafficking, including his role as a key link to the powerful Mexican Jalisco New Generation cartel. La Pacoda might seem like a dark and harsh place, but for those with money and influence, life behind bars can be quite the opposite. Take, for instance, the case of Juan Carlos Martinez, a Colombian senator found guilty of drug trafficking and maintaining ties with rebel groups. Martinez was sentenced to 7 years in La Pacoda, and the public expected him to face a harsh reality. But instead of the punishment one might expect, Martinez lived in luxury, turning his prison stint into a prolonged celebration. His cell became the site of an extravagant 2-day birthday party attended by 34 guests, including celebrities, musicians, and other high-profile figures. The festivities were complete with smuggled food, alcohol, and entertainment, all inside the prison walls. When news of this lavish celebration leaked, the public was outraged. Colombians demanded an end to this blatant favoritism. In 2012, after intense public pressure, Martinez was finally transferred out of La Pacoda to another prison. But the incident left a lasting impression, a stark reminder that in some places, justice is just a word, easily bent for those who can afford it. Batu Prison. Let's dive into Batu Prison, a place that feels more like a retreat for big-time crooks than a typical jail. This is where you'll find high-flying economic offenders, disgraced former ministers, ex-mayors, and top corporate bosses serving their time. Take Tommy Suharto, the youngest son of Indonesia's ex-president, for instance. Back in 2001, he was accused of brutally murdering a Supreme Court judge, and a year earlier, he got tangled up in a shady land deal. To top it off, authorities nailed him for illegally owning a firearm. Normally, crimes this serious could have landed him on death row, but instead he scored a surprisingly soft deal, a stay at Batu Prison on Nusa Kambangan Island in South Java. It's a spot that raises eyebrows, making you wonder just how tough the punishment really is for the elite. But Batu Prison is far from ordinary. Tommy's prison cell featured a 21-inch television, air conditioning, a lavish bathroom with ceramic tiles, and even an exercise bike. Tommy also invested his own money to construct a fish pond and a badminton court, allowing him to relax and entertain himself alongside fellow inmates. He received special dishes prepared by the prison guards, delivered by motorboat, just like a private delivery service. His life in prison was anything but typical. Tommy maintained a relationship with his lover, Sandy Haroon, a former model and teacher who regularly visited him and stayed with him for extended periods. All these comforts were granted thanks to his immense wealth and his status as the youngest son of a former dictator. His father, who ruled Indonesia for 32 years, was notorious for embezzling billions of dollars in public funds, and this very prison, Batu Prison, originally built by his father to hold political prisoners and those who dared to oppose his regime. It's hard to fathom how the super-rich can turn their prison time into something that seems like a vacation while the rest of the world is left wondering where the justice is. Tommy Suharto isn't the only one turning a prison sentence into a stay at a luxury resort. Sukamiskin Prison. Let's kick things off with the jaw-dropping prison life of Indonesian mogul Artha Marani, better known as Ayan. She's a big-name businesswoman in Indonesia who landed in hot water after slipping a prosecutor a cool $660,000 bribe. That stunt got her slapped with a corruption conviction by a Jakarta court, earning her a 5-year sentence. But for Artha, prison wasn't about to cramp her style. It became a stage to showcase her cash and clout in a whole new way. Ayan used her financial power to transform her basic grimy cell into a lavish suite that could easily rival a luxury 5-star hotel. When a local TV station got wind of the situation, they made an unannounced visit to the prison. To everyone's shock, Ayan was found undergoing laser beauty therapy in a 64-square-meter cell filled with amenities like a flat-screen television, a large bed, a private bathroom, and even a karaoke machine. It didn't stop there. Artha had 3 personal maids at her service around the clock, enjoying guest privileges that seemed endless. She would casually summon hairdressers and beauticians to the prison for her regular beauty treatments. When footage of Artha's luxurious prison life aired, the Indonesian public was enraged, realizing that inequality and corruption ran deeper than they had imagined. The outcry was a stark reminder that for the super rich, even justice could be bought. And just when you think you've seen the peak of how the wealthy manipulate the system, Sukamiskin Prison in Indonesia takes it a step further, where the prison gates might as well open into a 5-star resort for those who can afford it. If you want to know more, leave a comment with the number 8 factorial. Basti Prison. Meanwhile, over in Norway, the prison game is on a whole different level. Think less punishment, more paradise. Basti Prison is a standout, perched on a quiet little island about 75 kilometers from Oslo, the country's capital. Here, more than 100 inmates, locked up for heavy crimes like drug smuggling, murder, and assault, live a life that's anything but harsh. Forget barbed wire, electric fences, or armed guards. This place is wide open. Prisoners bunk in cozy, colorful wooden cottages, spending their days tending to farm animals, growing crops, splitting firewood, or kicking back with all kinds of fun activities. The island even boasts its own beach, perfect for summer sunbathing, fishing, or a quick tennis mat. One inmate spilled the details. He gets up to 18 days a year to pop over to the mainland, just 4 kilometers away, so close you could practically swim it. It's a setup that makes you rethink what doing time can really look like. The dining options are more like a 5-star restaurant than a prison cafeteria. Meals include fried sea bass with cream, Mexican-style grilled shrimp, and oven-baked salmon. Inmates also earn about $10 a day and receive a monthly food allowance to cook their own meals. This approach to self-sufficiency may seem overly indulgent, but it works. Only about 16% of inmates reoffend within 2 years of being released from Basti, compared to a 20% reoffending rate in Norway, overall, and a staggering 70% across Europe. Then there's Holden Prison, often called the world's most humane maximum security prison. Opened by King Harold V, Holden cost a whopping $252 million and covers an area of nearly 1 million square meters. Here, prisoners wear their own clothes and move freely within the grounds. The prison even has a state-of-the-art recording studio where inmates are taught to play musical instruments like the guitar, piano, and drums, learning to compose and produce their own music. Some groups of inmates have even released their own albums. More than half of the guards at Holden are women, and they don't carry weapons to avoid creating an atmosphere of intimidation. Instead, they often play sports or share meals with the inmates, fostering a sense of community. Prisoners also have keys to their own rooms, allowing them the autonomy to open and close their doors just like they would at home. These prisons offer an unrealistically luxurious experience, sparking debates worldwide about fairness and justice, especially when compared to the often harsh conditions of other prisons around the globe. Aranjuez Prison. Then there's Aranjuez Prison, where the whole idea of jail time takes a bold, eyebrow-raising turn. Here, prisoners can bunk with their kids in setups that feel more like family apartments than cold, hard cells. Take little Victor Manuel Lozano, just 2 years old. While most toddlers his age are scribbling in preschool or pedaling tricycles in the backyard, Victor's doing it all inside Aranjuez prison. His mom, locked up for murder, and his dad, doing time for drug charges, share a special family unit with him, blending parenting with punishment in a way that's hard to imagine. But like all children in the facility, Victor could only stay with his parents until he turned 3. After that, children are either placed with relatives or sent to social service centers while their parents return to standard prison cells. Aranjuez is unique, being the only prison in the world designed with family units. Each of its 36 rooms, roughly 150 square feet, comes equipped with a double bed, a crib, and a collection of toys, with walls brightly painted with Disney characters. There is also a playground where the children can run freely, making it a peculiar mix of prison and playground. The prison ensures that children receive the best possible care. They are provided with high-quality milk and nutritional supplements, and a doctor checks their health twice weekly. However, not every prisoner qualifies for this arrangement. Those convicted of crimes like pedophilia or other sexual offenses are strictly excluded. Additionally, inmates must undergo a 2-month evaluation period to demonstrate their suitability for this unique family program. If you want to know more, leave a comment with the number 6 factorial. The Otago Corrections Facility. Down in New Zealand, the Otago Corrections Facility flips the script on what a prison can be, sparking questions about fairness in the justice game. Built with a focus on treating inmates like humans and helping them turn their lives around, this place offers living conditions that blow most global prisons out of the water. At Otago, cells feel more like personal retreats. Every prisoner gets their own spot with a bed, desk, chair, and shelves. Some even score privacy screens for the bathroom. These aren't the tight, packed-in quarters you might picture from tougher systems. It's a setup that's as surprising as it is comfortable. The facility also features modern architecture with plenty of natural light, comfortable furniture, and meticulously maintained surroundings. Inmates have access to amenities that are almost unheard of in other prisons. They can enjoy a library, sports grounds, a gym, and dedicated social areas. Beyond that, there are recreational activities such as gardening, art classes, and various sports. These offerings are considered luxuries, especially compared to the harsh and punitive environments that are typical elsewhere. The focus on wellness, mental health, and physical activity at Otago aims to lower reoffending rates, but it does raise questions about fairness. For example, the case of Stuart Murray Wilson, known as the Beast of Blenheim, shows how different this experience can be. While Wilson was not wealthy, his notoriety meant that he was housed under strict conditions at Otago. The extensive resources dedicated to his supervision, housing, and rehabilitation efforts are far from what one might expect for a high-profile offender with his history. Yet even the Otago Corrections Facility's approach to humane incarceration pales in comparison to Austria's Justice Center Leoben, where the boundaries between a prison and a luxury retreat blur entirely, challenging the very definition of what it means to serve time. The Justice Center Leoben. Let's shine a spotlight on the Justice Center Leoben in Austria, a jaw-dropping prison that's all about high-end living, even for those behind bars. Nestled in the town of Leoben, this place was dreamed up by Austrian architect Joseph Hohensen and welcomed its first inmates in 2005. What makes it stand out isn't just the fancy digs, it's the whole vibe, leaning hard into a fresh, humane take on lockup. Here, the goal isn't so much about making life tough. It's about giving prisoners a shot at rebuilding themselves while keeping their spirits intact. The design alone is a game-changer, blending style with a purpose that's as practical as it is eye-catching. The Justice Center Leoben looks nothing like a typical prison. Imagine a place that resembles a high-end hotel or a contemporary corporate office with large open spaces, sleek architectural lines, and an abundance of natural light. The idea is to create an environment that feels more open and less like a cage. Each room has a bed, a desk, a chair, and even a television. Every room also comes with a private bathroom and shower, a far cry from the shared facilities found in most prisons. The intention is to give prisoners a sense of privacy and normalcy, which is believed to positively impact their mental health. Beyond the rooms, there are plenty of common areas like a fully equipped gym, a well-stocked library, and spaces designed for socializing. The Justice Center Leoben also features a garden. This focus on greenery and open space is meant to create a calm, stress-free environment, which is believed to encourage rehabilitation. Inmates here are not just locked away. They have access to an extensive range of services, including legal advice, psychological counseling, and social services. This network of support is geared toward addressing every aspect of an inmate's needs, from personal development to preparing them for life after release. Sukhmiskin Prison. Over at Sukhmiskin Prison, dirty money can turn a drab cell into a luxury hideaway. Inmates with deep pockets deck out their spaces with cushy couches, trendy curtains, fridges, and top-notch audio gear. They've got the freedom to shop, savor fancy meals, get regular doctor visits, and even craft lush resort-style gardens. This isn't the gritty prison scene you'd expect. Bored with the cafeteria grub? No problem. They can just dial up a local eatery and have something tastier delivered right to their door. There are even in-house hairdressing and spa services for those willing to pay. Inmates can spend around $700 every month on these luxurious perks. One shocking incident involved a prisoner using an ambulance as a getaway vehicle. With sirens blaring, the ambulance was supposed to head to the hospital, but instead drove straight to a luxury apartment complex. 13 hours later, the inmate was seen embracing a young woman. The cost of this so-called hospital visit? About $700. The extravagant conditions inside Sukhmiskin Prison are far from a secret, but they reveal a deeply troubling side of justice in Indonesia. Here, wealth can buy comfort, privilege, and an escape from the harsh realities of imprisonment, a reality that seems deeply unfair to everyone else. Which prison do you think looks the most luxurious? Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 10.